walk into the mall with the intention of buying one belt and walk out of the mall with one belt. Okay, all the guys raise their hands. But admit this. A lot of times, we walk into the mall with the intention of buying a belt, and you walk out with a belt and a cup of coffee. You walk out with a belt, a cup of coffee, and a pretzel. You walk out with a belt, a cup of coffee, a pretzel, and a plasma TV. Chain reaction shopping.
As I travel the world, one of the things that I'm constantly seeing and hearing from this younger generation is they're a lot more excited about personal finance than I think a lot of people realize. I've had people who have never picked up a financial book. After my presentation, they'll send me an email and say, hey, I just opened up a Roth IRA. And I think there's a lot of potential here for companies to partner with this younger generation if they realize the long-term benefits of doing so.
Consultants in this room, some people in that group, you might have been to 2 or 3 Wealth Masters conferences already. You are pretty financially savvy. You might know some of the things that I'm going to talk about here today. What I want you to think about, though, is not, hey, I already know that. I want you to say, how can I use that to connect with the younger generation? And you call them whatever you want, Generation Y, Generation Next, the millennials, but I'm talking about those people born after 1980. Because if you are not marketing and targeting this generation, you are missing out on some of the most eager entrepreneurs in the history of the world.
Companies have hired me to train their staff. They've said, Peter, we already know a lot about personal finance. What we don't know is how do you make it exciting for this younger generation? What are we supposed to do to actually connect with them? And that's one of the ways that I can help.
Do me a favor right now and just look at the person that is sitting next to you. There is a 70% chance that the person you are looking at has a mistake on their credit report that is not their fault. Do me a favor and look at that person one more time, and I want you to say to them, I am so glad that I am not you.
This is a market that I think understands the importance of taking charge of their financial life better than anybody else. They've watched their parents work very hard at a particular company only to get outsourced, downsized, laid off. And these people are realizing, I need to take charge of my own financial life. I just don't know how to do it. And they feel mainly ignored by a lot of the major financial companies, and they feel that nobody has their best financial interest at heart. And I can help financial companies connect with young people in a way that's going to form a very lucrative long-term partnership.
Is there anybody in this room, could you raise your hand right now if you are under the age of 18 and a half? Okay, there we go, back corner, all right. Some people are lying, I understand that. All right, fair enough. We'll be checking IDs later. Very interesting thing happens when you turn 18 and a half. Everybody in this room knows what happens when you turn 18. You can vote, you can buy cigarettes, you can buy the magazines on the top shelf. Thank you for laughing, gentlemen sitting alone. I'm only kidding. When you turn 18 and a half, like it or not, or believe it or not, a credit report is opened on you.
Some conferences bring me in to speak not only at the conference, but to also run a youth program at their conference. And what they say to all their attendees is, hey, bring your kids, we have somebody running a youth program. And many of these conferences have seen an increase in attendance and also in revenue, simply because a lot of the parents who weren't planning on going are going to go because they can bring their kids.
We realized a long time ago that if we couldn't reach the next generation, that we were all in trouble, because they're going to have to bail out our mistakes. And that's what Peter's great at. Putting a face, an easily understandable face on financial planning, making good decisions, instead of living maybe like your parents did, which is keeping up with the Joneses, making great decisions based on what's right for you.
My information is extremely timely. When I speak to financial companies, I'm not sharing information that I learned 2 years ago or I read from a book that was published 4 years ago. I am sharing information that I heard yesterday in front of a crowd of young people that I spoke to, whether it's at a college or a military base or at a high school.
I, like most people in this room, I could probably fill a book with all the things in my life that I don't have. And don't get me wrong, I want to make a lot of money and I want you to make a lot of money. I just need you to make me 2 promises. The first promise is that whatever it is that you want, you buy it for you and not so that someone else will see that you have it. And the second promise that I need you to make me is that you never forget that some of these emotions we're trying to create by buying more stuff, if we just take a moment to look at some of the wonderful things in the world around us, we can create those emotions for free. My name is Bielagus. Have an absolutely wonderful conference. Thank you very much.